A very disappointing display from Tottenham Hotspur, a very disappointing result at Selhurst Park on Sunday afternoon. Mikey Moore started his first Premier League game, but goalkeeper Vicario has stated that Spurs lacked fight. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Spurs in the Media, where I'll be going through all of today's newspaper articles, looking at all of the player ratings as well from the game at Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Spurs remain 8th in the Premier League table. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's get straight into it, and let's start with a report from the Daily Mirror today. And on the front of their sports supplement, it says here, Buckingham Palace, Spurs keeper Vicario accuses his team of not being up for the fight. It then goes on to say that Spurs goalkeeper Vicario slammed the attitude and fight of his team, and Ange Postecoglou said his side lost the battle at Crystal Palace. Mateta netted the only goal of the game to see the Eagles lift themselves out of the bottom three, but Italy star Vicario said, "They fight and we lack that today. We are disappointed because we have to fight." Now there's also a double page spread published by the Daily Mirror today, and it says here, Matt out of hell, French striker fires Eagles to first victory of the season over hapless Spurs. Mateta gave Crystal Palace their first Premier League victory of the season and rekindled happy memories of the end of their last campaign. But for Tottenham Hotspur, this was an unwanted flashback to their last shoddy away defeat at Brighton. Now the match facts and stats here. Possession, Crystal Palace had 34% of the ball to Tottenham's 66%. Shots on target, Crystal Palace had 6 to Tottenham's 3. Shots off target, Crystal Palace had 7 to Tottenham's 4. Total passes, Crystal Palace 246 to Tottenham's 512. Passing success, Crystal Palace 65% to Tottenham's 81%. Corners 8 apiece. Offside, Crystal Palace 4, Spurs 1. And fouls, Crystal Palace 16, Spurs 12. Now the player ratings from the Daily Mirror today, they have given Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero all 6s. Van de Ven and Udogie both are 5s. Kulusevski a 6, Basuma a 5, Maddison a 5. Sub Richarlison a 4. Brennan Johnson a 5, Solanke a 6, Mikey Moore a 5, and sub Timo Werner a 5 out of 10. Now for a double page spread from the Sun newspaper today, and it says here, things can only get Mateta, dream win, now boss Oliver wants liftoff. It then goes on to say that Mateta may have saved Oliver Glasner's job after kick-starting Crystal Palace's Premier League campaign. Now what an interesting stat the Sun have published here. Match time, 103 minutes 13 seconds. Ball in play time, 49 minutes 48 seconds. Now, a couple of stats published by the Sun newspaper today. More the merrier. Mikey Moore became the third youngest man to start in the Premier League for Tottenham. The youngest was Stephen Carr in September 1993, aged 17 years, 28 days. Andy Turner on the 15th of August 1992, 17 years, 145 days. And now Mikey Moore on the 27th of October 2024, aged 17 years, 77 days. And James Maddison, who made his 200th Premier League appearance against Crystal Palace for Spurs, has never scored in 11 games against Crystal Palace, his most against any opponent. Now for a report from the Guardian newspaper, and it says here, Mateta finds feet to give Glasner a lift. Oliver Glasner does not believe in magic. He is a pragmatic man who trusts his principles. He trusted them at the end of last season when Crystal Palace looked like world beaters. It then goes on to say, give it time and principles will take their effect, or you could just wait for the visit of Tottenham. Now a report from the Times newspaper, and it says here, foolhardy Spurs, no match for poise of Mateta and Walton. Mateta's first half strike earned Crystal Palace a thoroughly deserved first win of the season at the 9th attempt against a Tottenham Hotspur side whose durability for the race for the top four was undermined by another defeat on the road. Now, the player ratings from the Times newspaper today. Goalkeeper Vicario with a 5 out of 10. Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven and Udogie all with 5s. Basuma with a 5. James Maddison with a 5. Sub Richarlison with a 5. Dejan Kulusevski with a 6. Sub Sarr with a 5. Brennan Johnson 5. Solanke a 5. Mikey Moore a 6. And sub Timo Werner with a 5. Now a report from the Daily Express, and it says here, Matt finish gives Eagles lift-off, Palace finally off the mark. And he's got a quote here from Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou. He said it was a poor goal to concede because the game was always an arm wrestle. The player ratings, Vicario a 6, Pedro Porro, Romero both with 6s, Udogie a 5, Kulusevski a 6, Basuma a 5, Maddison a 5, Sub Richarlison a 4, Brennan Johnson with a 5, Solanke 6, Mikey Moore 5, Timo Werner sub 5. And now a report from the Daily Mail, and it says here, spineless Spurs cannot live with electric Eze. Ange fumes after Palace finally end winless run. We lack fight too often, admits Vicario. And the player ratings from the Daily Mail today, Vicario at 6.5, Pedro Porro at 6, Romero and Van der Ven with 5s, Udogie a 6, Kulusevski a 6, Sub Sarr a 6, Basuma a 6, Maddison a 6.5, Johnson a 6, Solanke a 6, Mikey Moore a 6, and sub Timo Werner with a 6. Manager Ange Postecoglou also a 6 out of 10. And lastly, let's hear from Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou. This is what he had to say after the game. We also hear from Spurs goalkeeper Vicario.
Fair to say, look, it wasn't. It was just a game that turned into, which wasn't a surprise, a bit of a battle and a lot of stops, starting, standing around, and we didn't deal with that really well at all. We didn't sort of get to grips with just the nature of what was transpiring out there, and like I said, turned a bit of a battle, and they dealt with it better than we did. No, it was a different game. It wasn't like, it was just like I said, it was just a game where we needed to sort of stay composed, not sort of, fall into the trap of trying to play the game that ultimately, Palace wanted to play. And as I said, it turned into a game. It just, it wasn't. It was just a battle after battle and duels and stops, starts, waiting around. And like I said, we need to be a lot more clear-headed about how we deal with that, rather than sort of fall into the trap of trying to, do what we did today.
It was a very physical battle. Were you unhappy with any challenges in the first half?
No, I mean, it was always going to look. I mean, it was a big game for Palace. They were always going to, be desperate to get a win today. And when that happens, they're going to be, look, I'll let the referee. Look, I just thought there was a lot of standing around today, which I hate. I've said that before, but I guess it's just the nature of the way the game went.
And you just spoke about the players needing to be more clear-headed in certain situations. How do you teach them that?
Look, it's just part of the process. The more you expose players to these kind of things, you offer them the feedback, and then you hopefully deal with it better the next time.
And just physically, the players need to be up for it more to match it, so you might Palace out there today. Do you think they were lacking that?
If you want to play that sort of game, but there's another way of dealing with it as well. By just, like I said, staying a bit more composed and not falling into the trap of turning into that sort of game, because, well, no, I don't want to play them at their own game. What we try and do is get people to adjust to play to our game. Now, look, some of it is out of your control because, like I said, they're obviously, going to be pretty aggressive in their approach, and which is not a surprise. And then, how the referee deals with that, not so much in terms of the challenges, but the whole stoppages and taking their time. All that's out of our control, but I just felt when we had control of things, we could have dealt with it better. We ended up doing some silly things, giving away silly fouls and losing our composure, which just adds to that, that sort of game, and you can't just get any traction. So I just think we directed our sort of frustration in the wrong way rather than sort of dealing it with the way we should have. Yeah, well, look, I mean, it was, like I said, it wasn't really a great game for anybody out there from our perspective. But, Mikey's, he's every time he's out there, I think he'll be a better player, and the more we can get him out there in the right kind of sort of environment, then he'll keep thriving. So, I'm sure he'll learn a lot today. But like I said, today, the kind of team we want to be, or the way we want to play, we need to be a lot more sort of composed in the way we deal with certain things out there, to not let the game get out of control.
And I realise you played the way you played, but on the goal, and you probably did said drives kicking that out.
Yeah, look, I think even before then, I think we could have dealt with those situations better, but it was a poor goal, and we should be better at that. We shouldn't be conceding like that. There was other solutions out there, and again, even in that moment, we didn't have to lose our composure. It just seems like we kind of wanted everything to sort of run smoothly, and we know it doesn't. So especially in a game like today, and there's still ways you can sort of overcome that. But it was a poor goal to concede because the game was always an arm wrestle. It was ever going to be, like I said, one with bags of chances or really open. So to concede like that was disappointing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, disappointed defeat today. We didn't expect this outcome today, but it is what it is, and every outcome has something to say, and has to say a big thing to us that maybe we didn't fight as we could fight today. And it's disappointing. We have to take it very personally. It has to hurt a lot, but fortunately in football we have another occasion in 2 days in a big game. So now we have to personally analyze this game and go forward, because in 2 days we will have another game. Yes, of course they really want it, but we have to know that when you come to play away from home here in the Premier League, every team has a little bit more to show in front of their fans in terms of attitude, in terms of power, in terms of taking care about things. And today they showed, and we showed less than them. So for us as a team, we have to improve this aspect, because to win game of football is not just about play good football. It's also about this kind of stuff, and we have to put in there as soon as we can, because we need to change this. How can I say, this mountain, of results, up and downs. We have to be more stable in our results, because we have the quality, but the quality sometimes is not enough. Yeah, of course. Now we'll analyze this game. Like I said, we have to take it personally. It has to hurt a lot to us, and then straight away in 2 days we have another game, and we want to win. It's important in the Carabao Cup. We want to go through. Toughest opponent in the UK, but we know this. And then after Wednesday, we will look forward to Villa.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy your week. Come on, you Spurs.